And thank you for stopping by. This is, of course, my live translation stream for the World of Visions JP official live stream broadcast on the 9th of February 2024. Whoops. And thank you for stopping by. This is, of course, my live translation stream. Sorry for the echo there. I forgot to. Okay, so this is gonna be another audio feed. Things are not going smoothly tonight. So, I'm gonna tell you guys what happened. So, it's like 8 to 9 minutes before the start of the official JP stream, right? And they still haven't, gone ahead and go live with this like music bed playing in the background, which they usually do at the start of their live stream before the actual start of the live stream for about 10 minutes. That's what they usually do. So I was counting on that music being live to be sort of like a background music bed for me to talk to you guys about, a bunch of stuff while waiting for the actual JP live stream to go live. But this time around, they were late in playing that music. So I thought, okay, no, not a big problem. I'm just going to open up my game and we'll load the background music from the World of Visions JP app there instead. And so that's what I did. And then the moment I played the background music from my JP app, they started going live and playing the music bed on their live stream. So that's why you were hearing a bit of an echo chamber in the background. And of course, the other thing is I forgot to turn off, I forgot to mute the preview window I have for checking that everything is right with the stream. Anyways, how's everything? Tonight is actually Lunar New Year's Eve, so I hope, for those of you guys who are in Asia, I hope you guys have had your dinner and, have a great time hanging out with, family and friends. So we're about 5 minutes away from the actual start of JP live stream. But I thought I would start the stream a little bit early to chat with you guys and to sort of do a bit of a prediction as to what's going to actually come out on the show tonight. Dozo says Raid 13 or Vincent Valentine would be dope. Sorry to burst your bubble, Dozo, but unfortunately I don't think we will get any kind of Final Fantasy VII announcement tonight. I don't think so. I know that the next, is it FF7 Rebirth? Is it what it's called? I know the next game in the remake series is coming out like later this month, but I think it's a little bit too early for them to be doing any kind of a collab with, the FF7 Rebirth. They probably want to wait a bit. They probably want to wait for people to actually get the game in their hands and to actually be familiarized with, everything in the game before doing an actual collab with FF7 Rebirth. So Dozo is asking, well then, what would be your prediction, Odaiba? So first of all, my prediction is, okay, the one that's easy to predict is that FF13 rerun is coming at the end of February, literally 2 weeks away. And the reason I say that is because we kind of know that, Square Enix has been shutting down gacha games left and right in Japan. And, Nier Reincarnation was recently announced to be shutting down in both JP and Global at the same time. And they also shut down a bunch of other stuff in Japan as well. So my guess is, right now World of Visions is, facing some kind of, budgetary concern, like maybe like the higher ups at Square Enix are kind of looking down on the department that handles World of Visions. It's the department that Hero runs. I forgot what it's called exactly, but I'm sure they are under pressure to deliver earnings from World of Visions and from FFB. So with that in mind, I feel that they will probably want to, do something that doesn't cost a lot of the money to make, to develop, that they can release and that they can get a bunch of revenue coming in. And I feel like the best candidate for that is actually FF13 Rerun, because we already know that the character model for Fang is already in the game. They literally wrote it out as part of an NPC character in the original FF13 collab. So chances are they're going to rerun it, and then they can release Fang, and they can try and get that sweet revenue alongside, the Valentine Day unit, alongside whatever unit is coming after that. And the music has stopped, which means that they're about to go live. Hopefully.
FFBE 厳正奏放送局2024年初週編
And there we go. That's, of course, Misoshiru, the YouTuber Misoshiru, introducing us to the show. Ishikawa Rie is her actual name, Rie Ishikawa. Next up, we have Asalto-san, who is the sort of the official ambassador for World of Visions JP. And this is Fujita-san, the director for World of Visions FFB. Oh, it's a little bit loud, isn't it? I'm gonna try and lower it a little bit. So Misoshiru-san is explaining that this is a part of a new broadcast show series. So they've changed the environment. The studio set is kind of different from past broadcasts. But the actual content of broadcast has a lot of things that you're quite familiar with if you watch any of the previous broadcasts. And of course, there are some new elements to the show as well, so look forward to that. Mr. Shiru-san is saying that on top of giving out new information, there will also be some variety show kind of elements to today's live stream. So it's a bit of a new challenge for them. So it's going to be, the atmosphere is going to be a bit more relaxed, and I think this is actually the Square Enix office, because I believe I've seen this background somewhere before. Anyway, the menu today, latest information is the first thing. The second thing is the latest trends information in World of Visions, and the third segment is a player match between Asalto-san and Fujita-san, the director of the game. So they're probably going to show us, I don't know, they're probably going to showcase something in that third segment. Maybe the new unit that they're going to announce. Maybe they'll show it off tonight during the player match in this part of the stream. Who knows? Asalto-san is commenting now that it's been about 2 years since they've actually done a show match in the broadcast. So it's been a while that they've done something like this. And they're talking about, if this were Tekken, Fujita-san says he would definitely lose, but because this is World of Visions fan match, auto PvP, he actually has a chance. So there's going to be something for the viewers later on as well. So before we get into the actual show, Fujita-san has something he wants to get out first. So previously, they announced the Guild Battle Reserve slot system. So originally they were planning to explain how that works during a live broadcast, so that's easier to understand. But unfortunately, due to the timing of the implementation as well as the live stream dates, so they couldn't end up explaining it live, broadcast somewhere instead. And he apologized that he had to actually announce the thing through the notices instead. But later on during the stream, they will be talking a bit about the new Guild Battle system, the Guild Battle Reserve slot system. And of course, in the notices later on, or rather, there's something from the notices that he would like to sort of add on that wasn't explained sufficiently in the notices. So first, he wanted to talk about the intention behind implementing this system. So Guild Battle was something that was implemented a few years ago in the game, as you guys might know. But it's been about 4 years since the Guild Battle system has implemented with not much of a change.
していきたいなというところがあったので、今回のようなちょっと新しい遊び方みたいなところだったり、新しいこう編成の組み方だったりとか。
So it's mainly because, the system has been around for a very long time, and it felt like it was time to, introduce some elements to make it fresh, a little bit fresher again. And that was the intention behind implementing the system, to basically give players something a little bit more with Guild Battle. So in the notices, they've explained the rough flow of how it works already. One thing that was confusing a lot of people is why there's actually slots for 3 units here, even though it's said that you can only have 2 reserve units. Even though you see 3 units here clearly. But the idea is really that this is going to be a 5-unit deck. So you will start the first battle of your team with, just 3 units. And then, for example, when, let's say in your main party, when Erde is defeated, let's say in this slot here, then they will take the first reserve slot and put it into whichever slot your KO unit is. And this will work the same way in defense as well as in offense. If your team is completely annihilated, both of your reserve units will be dropped into your team. And also on defense, if you didn't set any reserve slots, when your main party is defeated, you will give out the maximum number of stars to your opponent. So this means that moving forward, the system on defense, when you beat it, you're going to get 5 stars, basically 1 star for each unit. And it doesn't matter if you don't set your reserve slot. So that's essentially the flow of how the reserve slot system works. So the part that they've been having a lot of questions on is that, isn't this like a huge change from the current Guild Battle system? It's actually changing from 3 units to 5 units. So the biggest thing people were concerned about is how many stars can you get. So right now it's up to 90 stars, which is 30 teams or 3 units, so that's 90 stars. So after this system has been implemented, it's going to change to 150 stars. So right now in the current system, because it's 90 stars and 30 teams of 3, it feels like you're battling for the number of swords remaining, number of attacks remaining. So moving forward, after they implemented this system, they expect that it will change to be more about competing for the number of stars rather than the number of remaining attacks. And as part of that, they've also changed the on each offense team will now have 3 attacks instead of 2 attacks. So they were doing some math there, but they didn't quite get to a conclusion. Like the math didn't kind of work out, in case you were wondering. But the idea is that
2回にしようかどうかっていうのを
So, at the implementation, they will start with each offense team having 3 attack attempts. But if it feels like it's too much, they can actually adjust it back down to 2 attacks per offense team. So, it's not like they definitely have to implement this as having 3 attacks per offense team. It's just that they're starting with this first, and then they're going to observe the situation and see if they need to adjust, that aspect, lower it to 2 swords instead of 3 swords per offense team, that kind of thing.
先にはなるんですけど
And in the future,
でもできるように
in the future, they also plan on implementing this exact same system in limited guild battle as well.
で、まあ、例えばその時にタイミング
So
で一回ちょっ
during that timing,
とかっていうところは考えているので
they're not sure exactly. They're probably going to roll it out with 3 attacks, but they're going to observe the situation because obviously, limited guild battle, you can pass your attack attempts around, right? So there's a chance that they may, for limited guild battle only, there's a chance that they may just restrict it to 2 swords, 2 attack attempts per team, just like right now. And basically, they want to, hear the feedback from players after they've tried it and see if they need to adjust anything.
もしコメントで変わるかもしれない。
確かに
And Fujisan is saying, well, maybe even right now, as people are giving their feedback in the chat, as they're looking at it, they can actually, reflect and think about it, see if they need to make any kind of changes to make it better. The other thing that they received the most questions about is that, what about the vision cards and the master ability?
そこに関して、
With regards to that,
反映さ控え枠に設定した VC だったり設定
the VCs and characters that you set in your reserve slots,
まあちょっと書き方がちょっと悪かった部分で伝わってない部分
so when they explain it in the notices, they kind of worded it in a way that it was kind of difficult to understand. But basically, to explain it here and now,
VC キャラクターの MA も全て反映されるなんで10枚分の VC の効果が発揮されます
あーじゃあ
all of the vision cards that you implement on your reserve slot will be activated.
マスタービル
So,
あとビジョンカードの効果が出ますよ。
そうです
so Salto-san is confirming here. So, do you mean
3人してるモント L でだけど、メディエナに設定した、VC および
so? Fujita director is explaining now that even if so you said 3 units and 2 reserve slots, right?
発揮されますし
When you go into a battle with the initial party of 3,
で撃破されて後ろの2人が出てきたとしてもモント L でに設定をしている VC の効果は消えない
when the first few units are KO'd and the reserve slots come in, the vision cards equipped on Mont and Erde, the starting party members, they will still be in effect for your reserve slot party members.
分と MA5 体になると
And in total, it will be 10. You're essentially, at the end of it all, you'll be running around with 10 vision cards and 5 characters worth of master abilities. So the way that you think about your compositions will need to change. Now, the one thing that they haven't addressed sufficiently is they haven't actually confirmed if all 10 of the vision cards will be activated right from the beginning of the first fight.
VC っていうのがあるので
But it sounds like that seems to be the idea.
で、組みやすくもなるかなと思ってます。まあ例えば先発の3人に、まあ、例えばですよ A2 アライアイリーザ
So, as an example, if you go with A2 Alaya Elisa as a starting party,
やっぱ耐久的には
and then Eliza and Laya, because they're not as they don't have lower endurance, so they get killed off easily, right?
のキャラク
And then after that, you can come in with your great sword characters coming in from the second fight onwards.
ター今例えば組み合わせ的にはよく見えるんですけど、まあ、A2 と
So maybe for your second fight, you might be able to go with A2 and Summer Glassula.
まあ、ハウレットだったりとか、レイゲンだったりとか、まあ、レイゲンはちょっと少ないハウレット
Like and Reagan and Howlett, those are characters that you might run in your reserve slot, for example, in this scenario.
ダーク系の召喚
ダークオーディ
人もいるので、
Or
まあ、そこの複数の
and then because you have Dark Odin in your VC, it's going to apply to your reserve slot members as well.
みたいなところの幅が広がる
So it's going to expand the possibilities in terms of your guild battle formations.
例えば属性で統一しちゃうんであれば、
Now, of course, you could just make everything mono element.
戦っている方に関しては全然例外的ではあるんですけど、ただ何でしょう、5人組むっていう話なので、5人で VC も全員分反映されますっていう話だったら、クエストと一緒ではある。
So essentially, it'll just be like, you know, as you're using your parties in your quest with 5 members. So it's just like that.
10枚設定されたら結構主要な
You're not going to be equipping 20 or 30 vision cards. It's just the 10 vision cards for the guild battle. So it's they're going to basically it's similar to what you would equip on a PvE quest.
もう決まってくる。これ入れてこれ入れて。
So with each elements, there are certain VCs that you always equip, right?
の、VC を入れたりダークオーディンだったりという複数属性に
But you know, on top of mono element stuff, there are things like, you know, Dark Odin that covers multiple elements, or, you know, other kinds of weapon vision cards.
どっちかしか使えないみたいな
So you're not going to be limited to, you know, either mono element or either, you know, weapon specific parties.
増えないとなかなか組みづらい特定の部種でしか
Of course, the thing to think about is that obviously for certain weapons, without that many vision cards, then you can't really do anything, right?
何かの影響であってしまうので
But you know, moving forward with like collabs and other stuff, you know, there are going to be vision cards that you will be able to use in your party,
考えて、
and they will basically reference the meta situation in terms of the weapon types for vision cards and all that when making future vision cards for collabs and for regular stuff.
ありがとうございます。ちなみに先ほど言ってた2回か3回か議論みたいなところで結構コメント欄ではまずは2回からっていう意見が結構
So seems like Misoshiru-san is explaining that in the comments chat. It seems like a lot of people are asking, why not, you know, at the beginning, can you just implement the mode with 2 attack attempts per party, 2 swords per offense party instead of 3, because they're worried about the time limits of 2 hours in guild battle being too short.
じゃないっていう
And Fujita director-san, the Fujita-san, the director, is saying, well, maybe we should just change it to 2 attack attempts.
でもう知らせも出し直します
Okay, so he's just decided we'll make it 2 attempts, and later on in the notices, they will announce it in the notices later on.
さっき、編成しなかった場合の挙動を僕言ったと思うんですけど、非科学先
So earlier, he mentioned that
星が行くみたいなどっちかというと例えばアサルトさんが設定してなくて、俺がアサルトさんを倒しましたってなったらその時に初めて3ではなくて5がこっちに入って
okay, so this is just to further explain for limited guild battle. If you defeat a character, if you defeat an opponent
で登場
who didn't fully set.
登場すべきタイミングでそいつがいなかった時に初めて取られる
Oh no! If
形でした
like in limited guild battle, if you didn't set anything in your party, your main party or reserve slot, at the start of guild battle, you'll straight away give your opponent the maximum of 5 stars per member. So make sure to set your teams, guys.
いろいろ改善されていくことだと思いますので
In any case, what Misoshiru-san is sort of summarizing the situation. So basically, this is something that they will continue to adjust based on players' feedback. So this is something that they want to get the players to try first, and they will look at. It's something that they are seriously thinking about how to make better with, you know, all the players' feedback. Just like as you've seen here today on the stream, people are saying they want it to be 2 swords, 2 attack attempts per offense team, and on the spot, Fujiya-san decided, okay, so they're going to do
解
that.
決するのかみたいなところではあるんですけどそれで全てを解決しないところではあるんですけど少しでも負担皆さんの負担は、
So,
抑えるのはもちろん
as much as possible, Fujiya-san says they'll try to reduce the burden on the player.
今15回っていうのを、これはちょっとギルマスさんっていうよりはメンバーさんの部分なんですけど
So they're talking about, I think, proxy right now.
かなと思っているのとあと福マスの枠、今3だと思うんですけど
And the number of sub slots in your guild.
それをちょっと増やそうかな
They're thinking of increasing the number of proxies per person and also the number of possible sub slots.
でやらなきゃいけない
So
今何人かっていうのは後で決めようかなと
I think right now, he said that right now it's up to 4 sub slots.
やつは増やそうかなと
but they'll look at improving the number of sub slots. So meaning, if you have fewer than 30 members and you're going to fight with, another guild with 30 members, right now you can have up to 4 people running sub teams, but moving forward they are looking at increasing that. So the one thing that I will need to go and check with my JP guild mates to see if they have explained it sufficiently. I'm still not sure if he meant that at the start of the first fight, all 10 vision cards will come into play. Because when he explained it, it kind of sounded like that's the intention, but he didn't actually say it. And then he gave the confusing example of the ice team, and then after that you can switch to great sword team, which is different from what you would expect if you want to run 10 vision cards. So for that, we will have to try and get more clarification, or when the mode is actually out. The mode is going to be implemented on February 19th. So when that happens, I'll check it out and I'll let you guys know in some way how it actually works as well. Miso Shiu-san is saying that, okay, we're finally getting the new stuff. She's very excited about all the new stuff that they are about to dig into. So here is going to be the actual start of the show. So all of that talk for the last 19 minutes is just some deep talk about things coming out in the future. But right now we're going into the actual show, and we're going to start with a PV trailer, a promo video trailer. What did I tell you guys? Huh? What did I tell you guys? OdaibaDiver, the great predictor of things. I'm a sage, you guys. I can read the stars. I knew the stars whispered to me that this was going to be a reality. How about it, you guys? I got it exactly right, didn't I? Lightning, Hope, and Snow are coming back with LB enhancements and more. And of course, Fang is coming along for the ride as well. Lightning element! I have to pull her now. Lightning is my strongest element in JP, in World of Vision JP, so I have to pull her, right? I hope she's not a terrible... Oh, and there's a vision card as well. I couldn't read the text, it flashed by too fast. So I'm sure they'll talk about it later. And this is the new... I think this is the boss collab. Yeah, this is the collab boss. Returning collab boss. What did I tell you guys? You see, it's exact. See, I knew that this was happening. That's why you see on the side of my screen I have the FF13 characters. This is basically me just telling you that, I predicted everything. Asalto-san says FF13 for him, the music is really great. Even within the Final Fantasy series, the theme of Lightning, Senko is a very popular song. And of course, Lightning is also a very popular character in the whole pantheon of the FF series. So they're now discussing about the actual name of Lightning's job. What? Asalto-san said that, it's said before that whenever characters have very long, descriptions, that usually is a sign that they're very strong characters. So, of course, Fang is coming. And they're gonna get into all the details for the rerun, starting with the collab characters. The new character this time is Fang, cost 90. She's not cost 100, you guys. I'm not sure if I'm happy or sad about that. Because, cost 90 is not something you want to see for guild battle, but... and the Veritas of rerun. What? I'm not sure what he's talking about. Some kind of joke. Oh, okay. So right now in JP, there's a meme going around. There's Veritas for every single freaking thing out there. There's a Veritas of Collab. There's a Veritas of social media. And of course, with FF13 Rerun, Hope is going to be free for everyone coming in a free 10 poll. So this is coming next month in Global, you guys. If it's wow, it's coming. What happened to the Valentine Day unit? It's coming on Feb 14. What the heck? They're breaking the pattern. What the heck is going on? Okay, anyways, we're going into the limit burst enhancement. Lightning. So normally it's limit burst is a single range, single target ability. So the what's added is 3 turns of critical damage resistance down on the target before doing 3 hits of damage L, and then when on critical hit, Lightning gets CT up small, and the AP cost is down from 43 to 33. For Snow, the entire effect range has changed from what's on the left to what's on the right. On top of that, the improvement is to the target 3 turns of strike resistance down before doing damage L, and you have a chance to stun them. And then the other new effect is 3 turns of courage removal seal, courage removal nullify, and 3 turns of regen on Snow. And on top of that, when you have regen on, AP consumption down. And the AP is also lowered from 49 to 39. As for Hope, Hope's is a cross-shaped AoE attack for his limit burst. The range has been increased by 2, from 3 to 5 squares. And of course, from that point, it's also a square. Sorry, it's a cross-shaped AoE. So he gets 3 turns of MAG up. That's normally what it does. And then on top of that, the new thing is 3 turns of elemental chain resistance down on the targets. And then after that, 3 hits of MAG based damage L, that's normally. And now it's a guaranteed hit. And it will also do 3 turns of damage lowering on the targets. And it will also give Hope a 3-hit barrier. 3-hit magic and physical barrier. By the way, I'm going to recap all of this at the end of the stream. So if you're confused, just maybe tune in for the after show. Right now, Fujita's thoughts is that Snow is kind of a little bit too bad for the current meta, so he's getting a bit more stuff. Lightning is still being used in JP quite a bit, so she's not gonna be getting as much help as the other characters, I suppose. And Asado-san just made a joke that, oh, you mean Lightning is an old character? Also, the other problem is, Hope is a boomerang user, so that's a problem, right? Because he can't use any of the weapon vision cards. So they're gonna make it that Hope will now be able to use glove weapon vision cards. So every single weapon vision card out there that supports glove users will now have boomerang added to it. So all the glove vision cards will be glove and boomerang vision cards. So he's still not glove class, he's still boomerang class. But to all of the glove based vision cards, they're going to add boomerang to it. And Fuji's director said that this is something they've been wanting to do for a while, but the timing to add it has been a little rough. So sorry to all the Hope fans, they're finally doing it now. So they're basically adding him into the pool of glove vision card users. So please give him a try, see if you can come up with any spicy stuff with Hope now that he's part of the Glove Gang. Glove Gang, rise up. I'm gonna use him with Addison Ray. Okay, next up, Fang. Lightning base unit costs 90. Main job is Grand Pals. The Fang of Grand Pals. Sub jobs are the new dragoon, I forgot what it's called, and then operative.
これは支流の加護っていう
I don't know what this ability is talking about, but it's a single target resistance down thing.
猛毒手友人
And operative is the one that
のもそうですねはい毒のやつ
the one that
となって
does poison and reduce slash resistance. So for the limit burst, it's called high wind. 3-turn defense penetration up for Fang before doing to the target damage L, and
ではダメージがアップしますと
if the target has defense up
エクストラブローが発動します
on the target, then you get damage up on the skill, and on hit, you also will activate the sequential ability
ハ
effect
イウィンドで攻撃をした
extra blow, which is
右下の範囲ひし形のひし形2マスの範囲なんですけど
this range here.
敵に対してハイウィンドで与えたダメージの一部を与える
はあ、
Hmm.
ダメージが広がるみたい
そうですねそのハイウィンドで攻撃した相手に対しての、まあ、例えば本当に高いダメージでポンとダメージを与えた時にその分の、ダメージがこう他のやつにも伝わっていくみたいなイメージでは
Oh, okay. So on the target, this is really difficult. Okay, so let's say you hit at the apex, right? If you hit the target at the end here, for this range all around the target, they will get hit
反対攻撃のエンジン
with the second attack, and then you will also drain a part of the damage to recover,
がいたり
you know, Fang's HP, and also this effect, the second attack, will have no influence on chain.
一
So
緒にこう例えば分かれる
it's kind of complicated. So basically, this is a single target attack. You hit a single attack, right? A single target, right? And then the target itself will not get the follow-up attack effect. You will not hit the target a second time, but all of the characters around the target will get hit with the second effect.
なので仮にヘレナの横にめっちゃ硬い8-0のめっちゃ硬いやつがいたとしても
So
それに与えたダメージを基礎として計算をするので、
まあ、横にラフちゃんとかがいても
ダメージが通りやすくなる。で、一部って言っても20%とか30%とかそんな低い数字ではないイメージではあるので、それなりにこう、まあ、本当に低すぎたらただの範囲攻撃でいいじゃんっていう話にはなるので、ある程度のダメージが広がるような
sorry, let me explain that again. There's no HP absorb here. It's saying that the first hit, right, will hit a single target, and then whatever damage is dealt to that target will be dealt out to all of the enemies around that target. But you see, the second attack, the damage is based on the first attack. So if let's say you're hitting Helena, who is a squishy target, and right beside her is Rafu, a tank, the tank will actually take as much damage as the first target.
楽しみですね。
はい
あ、ごめん、ちょっと今一言間違えて。
But you don't get the full damage. The second blow is not full damage, it's only a portion of the initial damage. So basically, this is a new kind of follow-up attack. Except they will base the damage on how much damage the first attack did.
そうだよな。
So hopefully you guys understand what I mean. This is still a single target move, but after you hit the target, for the units around that target, they will receive a portion of that damage. And all of this damage is dealt based on the first target. A portion of the first target's damage. Okay, so Fang is a frontline physical attacker type.
アビリティの説明します。
She has a physical barrier so that she can take some damage.
範囲内の対象の
And also piercing attacks that can hit up to 3 squares in front of her
物理
to defeat enemies.
を封印する。
And of course, she has physical barrier breaking seal.
これ多分 EX 強化で
So she will prevent enemies from breaking physical barriers.
4ターンです。自身を中心
So he's on this now already.
範囲の
4 turns of
素早さ、
ATK and agility up and single target resistance up on all the allies. And for Fang herself,
バリア。これが
she will get HP barrier physical on herself and 4 turns of reaction block rate up. So she has a physical HP barrier. And then over here, this is a single target. This is a select 2 target 3 turns of pierce resistance down before doing damage M to 2 targets. So I'm coming back to this. This is an AoE attack to all the targets in the AoE damage M, and 3 turns of 3 turns of physical barrier break nullify.
でかつ物理バリアを破壊しながら攻撃するっていう攻撃スキルだアビリティだったり、あとは耐久的な部分でいうとガッツ持っています。
She has courage as well.
バリア破壊があって、相手の防御を割合で下げるアビリティも他にありますよみたいな。でプラスで
And defense percentage lowering.
範囲にはなるんですけど、回復アビリティみたいなところも実は持って
She has some kind of healing, HP recovery ability on her as well.
中箱の初戦とかでは、なかなか使うシーンはないと思うんですけど、例えばクエスト、
It's not something that will be used in a guild battle or PvP situations, but it's something that's going to be pretty good for PvE content.
で、最初の
Or even for guild battle for the second fight. It's basically an HP recovery move. Something like Chakra.
キャラクターいるかもしれないですけど、そういったところで2戦目の動きに回復を組み込むみたいなところもできなくはっていう形の。
So she has some form of healing for herself that will be useful in the second fight in guild battle.
騎士でその
And of course from the new Dragoon type,
もあるので、
there's the buff, I forgot what it's called
いいんですけど、
in English.
一つのパーティーみたいなところにもちょっと入れ
But
やすい形で
basically, she's very easy to slot into Pierce, into a spear party.
バリア破壊風
And also, it's easy to put her into, teams that, use a lot of barriers because she does have physical barrier nullify, physical barrier breaking nullify.
攻撃耐性を上げる、バフを持っているので、
And of course, Alde has, the buff for the, was it single target resistance? I forgot what it is. But basically, she works really well with Erde, young Erde.
ついに来ますかね、やりました。
やりだしできるかもしれません。
Finally, Spear, the era of Spear users is coming, with Fang as the latest addition to that unit. And she's coming February 14th, so be sure to check her out. So next up, they're going to explain the vision cards. If you, so at the end of the stream, I'll go back and listen and try to translate everything that Fujiya-san said for you guys. Because I'm pretty sure I missed like 1 or 2 things that he mentioned earlier on as I was reading the other part while he's talking about something else. But mostly, I think I got you guys like 90% of what he said.
認められしもの全部
So all of these have been out already, and
バハムト新規追加のバハムトに認められしものに関して
and this is a new one, the Bahamut,
紹介したいなと思
whatever it's called, Bahamut something something VC.
うVC
And of course, there's a login bonus.
物理1キラーとリアクション阻止率と命中っていうのをパティアビリティでつけたいなっていうところ
Party abilities are accuracy up, man eater when physical, and
の次
the third one I forgot. Sorry, I'll come back to
フ
it.
ットバトルを予定していて、
I think reaction block rate up is what it was.
VC で出してない効果なんですけど、
はい
広いほどダメ軽減になります。
ああ、
範囲が広いほど
You know how there's this thing called the AoE barrier effect?
火ダメを軽減する効果っていうのをつけようかなと考えて
They're thinking of putting the magic AoE barrier effect onto the vision card. So up until now, it's been area of effect AoE damage mitigation, but this time they want to put magic damage mitigation onto the vision card. Not too sure how that will work, because the AoE damage mitigation depends on how big the AoE is.
されてるビジョンカードとしても大いに見
By the way, the effects I named you guys earlier is out of order. The third effect is accuracy. The first effect is man-eater when physical attack. And the second effect is, I believe, reaction block rate up.
はい、ありがとうございます。
So the main ones are the man-eater when physical and accuracy. Those are the main ones.
2月14日にはコラボ復刻チャレンジミッション、ファング育成チャレンジミッション、ライトニング、ホープ
So just to reiterate, first effect, which means the highest one is man-eater when physical up.
専用武器エア
Second one is reaction block rate up, if I'm not wrong. And then the third one is accuracy up.
ではファングの家系
And on top of all that, the Holo VC effect,
右下のホープ
I believe, is they want to add some kind of magic damage mitigation.
のレア育成アイテムがゲット可能でございます。
So this is all the stuff that's coming, collab, challenge missions, bingo bot stuff, and they will give out some burst cores as well, because obviously all of the upgrades this time for the returning characters are with their limit burst. So be sure to get all of them when it comes to global as well. And of course, boomerang.
さあ続いて高難度 EX クエストです。藤田さんお願いします。はい。ブレイズエッジと、ブレイズエッジは
Blaze Age is coming back as well, and then this is Fang's new weapon. So earlier they mentioned something about the boomerang. I'm not sure if it's that you can equip the boomerang on glove users or you can equip glove equipment on Hope. So that's something I will need to see if they clarified earlier on.
ファングのみの効果として、一定 HP が一定以下の場合は物理ダメージが上がるという効果と、命中と初期 AP を補助。
So the normal effect is spear attack up, and then the Fang exclusive effects are when HP is above a certain percentage, damage up, and then accuracy up, and one more thing that I didn't write down. But basically it has accuracy up for Fang only. It has 3 effects for her. For Blaze Age, the +6. And the boomerang as well gets a +1. Scorpion from my chat says probably Bahamas chosen since the other 3 were something's chosen. Yep, I think you might be right on that. And of course the collab boss is coming back. So the boss this time around for the collab event is actually Bahamut. And Misoshi-san is recounting that when she was fighting the Asper boss previously, she realized that you can't just hit with standard attacks. You have to there's some special element to it, so you have to be careful about that. And Fuda-san says that they've applied the usual stuff onto the Asper enemies. Blaze Age, there's 2 types, right? Someone mentioned in chat on the JP stream. This time around, the special drop that you get as a rare drop, the one that comes as a +5 complete mate, they will not be releasing a +6 version of that. Only the regular version of the Blaze Age Lightning Sword will get a +6 version. Which is great because I mean, who uses the one that gets dropped from as a rare item? Nobody uses that. Nobody cares about that version. All right, next up is the Trials of Reckoning 2 for FF13. The equipment is Chocobo Chicks, baby Chocobo plush toy. And of course, there are limited titles: Attacker, The Promise to Protect a Friend, and this is Grandpa, the Fang of the Grandpaus. So obviously, this is a plush toy, but the Chocobo itself lives inside somebody's afro, right? And that Chocobo is kind of like a supporting, kind of like the therapist for the Afro guy. I forgot his name. I think his name is Sarge or something like that. But basically, the Chocobo played a big part in his life. So now that they're releasing this as an item, everybody can have that kind of mental support from the baby Chocobo.
まあ、その辺も含めてちょっとゲットして使ってみてもらえたらなと思います。
ありがとうございます。
So as usual, the equipment will have special effects for each character. And I believe he said that it will also have special effects for the Trials of Reckoning itself. On top of that, we are also getting Guild Raid for FF13 rerun. For those of you guys who are fans of Guild Raid,
まあ個人的には好きなので、
Asalto-san and Fujita-san, the director, are both big fans of Guild Raid. Hopefully you guys are as well.
日を普通にしてなかったんで
And the thing is that they always forget is to check the actual date that Guild Raid begins. Because people, you know, for some reason, even for the people who are excited about Guild Raid, they always forget to check the starting date. So be sure to check the start date. It starts on the 25th of March, so it's next month. It's basically the last week of the collab.
実施させていただきます。
楽しみにしていてください。
As usual, you have your ranking titles and, you know, raid gear. No, not raid gear, sorry. Just ranking titles. And all these are the campaigns coming out in the near future. Login bonus, challenge, mission boards, Fang challenge missions,
ゲットしてください。
どっかでまたまとめて見れるんですか？
Hope and Snow and Lightning mission boards. Fang will get halftime barracks. You know, the halftime barracks thing.
チェックしてください。X でポストがだんだん馴染んできました。
ようやく口から出るようになりましたね。X が出るようになりました。
That is really the only thing that is of significance. The rest are all the standard stuff.
おかしいな。さあ、以上 FF13 コラボフット
Road to Worldwide campaigns are all here. You know, some of you guys may probably know what I mean by that. It means that the shards will always be in the shop when you try to buy it. That's the Road to Worldwide campaign. Alright, so this is a campaign for outside of the game. This is probably only for Japan audiences, for Japanese players. Yeah, well, so what's gonna happen is it's a social media campaign. And as long as a certain post reaches 5,000 reposts and likes, everybody will get these things: 40 shards of the 40 Mind Spears, 40 FF13 Mind Spears, and Rainbow Orbs, 3 of them, Rainbow Fragments, 3 of them, and then if it reaches over 10,000, everybody gets 1,000 viz. And then for the people who follow and repost the post on X, 13 people will be selected to receive the FF13 original soundtrack. So Abyssal Shield-san is asking Asalto-san what song he likes from FF13. And he says that he likes the battle theme, but he also likes the theme, the song that he just hummed out. Which is, of course, I don't know the name, but it's the one that plays on one of the dungeons. It's one of my favorites as well. I don't remember what it's called. Sun plays something something.
本当ですか？
分かる人はうまい。
ありがとうありがとう。あ伝わってるじゃないですか。
あ、すごい。でもなんか伝わってる人もね。
アカペラっていう。
アカペラ。
ぜひこの曲が知りたい人はゲー
So
ム。
Fuja-san says that for the people who, you know, for the people who know, they know the song, you know. Obviously, the fans will know what that song is. It's one of the more memorable ones in FF13 for sure.
していてください。さあ、続きましてその他最新情報についてもご紹介いたしましょう。こちら。
Alright, next up, we have, what is this?
集めよう。続々と登場中のベリアスについての最新
So, what?
ましたね。
本物のベリアス。
Oh, okay, so level 140 for Veritas of the Wind is coming on February 21st.
ねえ、
And of course, this is already information that we know. The Various of the Water is, you know, you can get it through arena medals. So it doesn't say anything new. So the only thing that's new is level 140 for Veritas of the Wind, coming on February 21st. Wait, isn't that... I thought we already have it. And on February 21st, he will finally get his limit burst as well. He doesn't have a limit burst as of right now.
で天風の方ですね、風のベリアスに関しては、さらなる強化が待っておりますというところで、
I thought he could already get to level 140. I thought this was already a thing. Anyways, on February 21st, they are...
2月21日の、15時の更新が入ったタイミングで、ベリアスに LB をもそのまま追加します。
They're going to add the LB on the patch on February 21st.
ところはなくて大丈夫なので、
So you don't have to do anything. On that date, just update the game. You will get your limit burst with Veritas of the Wind.
待って、ちょっと LB の内容とか含めていろいろ見ていただいて、
And you can confirm what the limit burst does at that time.
でね、結構転生もたくさん星がついて、
はい
はい、さらに LB も
And of course, even ahead of this thing, right? Like right now, if you clear the new legendary Relinquery stage, you can get a bunch of his Mind Spears already. I thought it was already out. I thought the level 140 was already out.
FFB の方でも偽物のベリアス
Because I saw that my guildmate showed me a screenshot of Veritas of the Wind reincarnating.
一応ね説明する
So I'm not too sure about that. I haven't unlocked level 1. My Veritas of the Wind in JP is still at level 115. Don't have
人体
time.
実験とかされた末に着れる鎧みたいな、これを着るとスイカのベリアスとかもおっとりした優しくて争いを好まない性格なんだけど、もう戦闘狂の
上がっちゃうと
血大好き
Straight Light says, wasn't Veritas of the Wind already 140 in JP? Yeah, that's what I thought as well. So I don't know why they're... I guess the new thing here is that on February 21st, they're adding
嬉しいですね。
the limit burst. But yeah, he should already be level 140 in the game right now. For the people who unlocked the level 140.
さあ続いてはこちら
Alright, next up.
2月14日の
Main Story Part 3 Chapter 7 Scene 2 is coming out.
やった
I haven't caught up the story yet, so I don't know what any of these means. Noguchi-san has some words to say about this chapter, so I'm not gonna translate for you guys, because I'm sure some of you guys haven't caught up as well.
そして古軍奮闘を続けるエンゲルベルト。ヤングの大規模な戦いが幕を開けました。
Oh,
絶望の足音が聞こえる中、
I see.
新たなる
Oh,
ということで、気になるものがいっぱいあります
wow.
ね。
Sounds super exciting, you guys. Be sure to play the story chapter.
タンクですからね。
Be sure to watch Engelbert scream or something.
ロールで言うとね、
I think that's what's gonna happen from what they said. I don't actually know.
待っててもらいましょうか。さあぜひ皆さんお楽しみにしていてください。さあ同じく2月14日になんとアナザーストーリー3章5
another story?
されます。
Oh no, I can't hide the spoilers for you guys.
が繰り広げられますね。
I can't hide the spoilers, guys. Don't blame me.
己の身を犠牲にしクリスタル
This is not my fault.
したダリオとシャドウ
You guys are not supposed to see this. Avert your eyes, avert your
成
eyes.
功した。しかし海洋軍による様々な異界への侵攻を止める
Like,
には
wasn't the point of Road to Worldwide to prevent all these kinds of things to begin with?
クリスタルの戦士たちが
Right?
海
Like,
洋軍
what actually changed now that we're on the worldwide version? We still have global exclusive units. We still have spoilers, unintended spoilers from JP. We still. So what actually changed, you guys? Except from the number of players dropping. But we're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about anything negative on this stream.
もう少々
No sure. I'm not sure why Oda is here.
ですね。
I'm sure she's like I don't know, like a guest character in this thing. Totally no relation to the Ashen King or anything.
投票についてなんとこの放送で結果発表をさせていただきます。
Alright, so they're gonna announce something, some kind of campaign. The results or something. Okay, so this is the popularity poll results for JP. The results that Hiroki said would come very soon is coming out tonight.
配信もしてて、いやもうベリー
And by the way, Asaldo-san said that he voted for Valis.
確かに投票
I don't actually remember who I voted for, by the way.
方向性が出てくる可能
I wanted to vote for Perrine, but I was tricked because I thought you can only vote for the initial characters. I didn't know you have to click more to select other characters.
こちらで
You're just gonna show all at once. First place is Glassela, second place is Helena, third place is Perrine, fourth. Well, you guys can see the rest. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
1位不動ですね。
Glassela is number 1 as usual.
毎回1位だもの。グラセラ。
Eric Gar says, come on, spill it. We already know. For you guys who don't want to know, don't look at chat for the next few minutes.
メルニアもねここに参戦してきて、
確かに。なんかメルニアって
Melnia, number 6. Pretty popular character, huh?
まあ人気がないとは全然言わない。
そうですね。
You can't say that Melnia is not popular, but within all the characters here, she's...
っていうイメージはあるので。
Yeah, you know, even in terms of usage, she's right about here in terms of the popularity, in terms of usage. So, you know, maybe people like her because of the usage. Maybe people like her just because of the character. It's probably a combination of both factors that she's here number 6. I'm really excited to see what they do with her in the future, for sure. But of course, you know, the one I want to see something done with is, of course, Perrine. Maybe Summer Perrine is going to come out in August. So they're explaining now that they did the popularity poll in global version as well. So the release of the new characters based on the outcome of these popularity poll, they're going to combine the popularity polls and use the results, the combined results, as their to determine what will be made out of the characters chosen. Fujiya-san said that. So basically, Fujiya-san is telling us the global version results. Gilgamesh being number 1, Miso-Shield-san is just absolutely shocked that Gilgamesh is number 1. But Fujiya-san said that Gilgamesh was actually, you know, in the top 10 in the previous global popularity poll as well. So he's pretty popular in global, it seems. So it seems like they know that they expected that he's popular, but, you know, obviously coming in at number 1 spot was a little bit surprising. But it was not exactly an unexpected outcome. Eric Guerra says Valentine Glassela. Maybe that will come next year. And maybe there will be a Veritas of the overseas. It's a joke that doesn't translate well. Veritas of the global. Veritas of the popularity. So he's reading out the rest of the, you know, number 4 to number 10 in global, and they are expressing how Fujiya-san said that, you know, previously Zazan took the first place, so, you know. Now, Adelard is a character that is popular in both global and JP, but more so in global, it seems. I don't think Fujiya-san knows that we're watching this stream right now. Because when he said, well, you know, in the past, Zazan actually was like the number 1 spot, the most popular character in global, so, you know, their taste is like, you know, so it's different from JP players. And now they're going to talk a bit about the live action stage play for War of Visions. They showed the trailer for it already. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make a video out of it, but they actually showed the characters in, you know, in stage costumes. And the really funny thing is Muraga is actually played by Hart Gay, the guy who appeared in the 4th anniversary JP commercial. So I think they knew that Hart Gay was being casted for Muraga, so they got him to star in the War of Visions 4th anniversary commercials. So this was something that was quite a bit of a conversation back when it was announced. Like, nobody had any expectations of... They didn't think that, you know, Hart Gay actually could do stage plays, because obviously everyone knows he's a comedian, right? So And they're talking now about how Hiro is very particular about the costumes. Miso Shiru-san herself has done some FFB cosplay before. And back then, Hiro-san would give her sort of pointers on how the cloth for the, for Dark Fina and all that stuff, the hairstyle and all that stuff. The cape for Dark Fina has to be long. And it's like a wedding dress kind of veil. So Hiro-san is very particular about the costumes. So that's obviously going to be one of the selling points for the stage play. And Asalto-san says that he's definitely going to watch as well. Fujiya-san said that as soon as this was announced, there were already people inquiring about how to get the tickets. So seems like it's actually quite popular. I've seen even on Twitter that people were asking to buy the tickets for certain dates for the stage show. So it's actually pretty popular. So right now we're moving on to the roadmap. A lot of this stuff happened, or rather was listed in previous official live streams before. In February, they're gonna do UI improvements. Next week, actually. The Affinity and the Esper stuff. They will be listed at the top, the ones that you've equipped already. And then this is easier to play. So this is in terms of the internal stuff. Basically, they're going to try to make the game easier to play so that things will take less time. Moving from screen to screen is going to take less time. And things like being laggy or slow, those are things that they've heard everyone's voices about, and they are planning to make some improvements on those ends as well. In March, so you know how when you unlock your abilities on your character board, they'll ask you if you want to set this passive or reaction ability. They will change the setting to not ask you this. And when doing your Trials of Reckoning, they'll make it so that you'll be able to easily see whether your companion unit, whether the unit bonus and VC bonus is included or not. So basically making it easier to see. And then other than February, March, in the future also, multi-quest auto farming is coming. And then they want to make it so that if you are set on proxy in guild battle, you can go straight away to attack your enemies without turning off proxy. Because right now, the way to do it is you have to turn off proxy before you can attack, which is kind of annoying. So they're going to improve it so that even if you're on proxy, you can straight away attack if you want to. And of course, that will disable proxy. And then after you've done an action in guild battle, they'll make it so that you can then set proxy after you've done your first attack, for example. And also, the last thing here is that you will be able to select your passive when re-rolling your Trust on passives. So it seems like, okay, right now they're discussing, hey, what happened to the Valentine's unit? What happened to the Valentine's unit? What happened? What's going to happen in Valentine's Day? So we just have to say this is not just about Valentine, but now that they're in worldwide version, So, because previously there was a gap between Global and JP, like 4 months. Now, because it's only down to 1 month or shorter.
今リリースをしていない状態になってます。なので、今回のバレンタインに関しては、新キャラはないです。
So there will not be a new Valentine's unit this time around because in Global there have never been like Valentine's unit, limited unit.
ぐらいかもしれないですもんね。
文化的にね。
そう
So
チ
the-
ョコレートをこう渡したり。
So Misoshi-san is saying now, well, overseas as well, the culture of the Valentine's Day is kind of different as well,
なってるところだから。
In Japan, Valentine's Day is something that, girls or Japanese people get more excited about because it's girls giving chocolate to guys.
ただ、
And then-
季節物がなくなったとか、なんか期間限定の何かがなくなったとか、そういうわけではなくて、まあ、その、ワールドワイド版移行に伴って、バレンタインに関してはっていうイメージではありますね。で、
So the reason you're not doing a Valentine's unit this time around is because now there is a worldwide
系
version.
のキャラクターっていうのは、今、この前ちょっと旧正月のオベロン
はい。出ましたね。
旧正月
Because the concept of Valentine's Day is different in global, so they're not doing it this year. But in global version, there was actually an Oberon, that came out this week in global. So of course they're going to, they're thinking about bringing it to a JP version, but
難しいんですけど、
the release timing is kind of difficult.
かなり前のキャラクターなんで、
And then for the other global exclusive characters, they've been released a long time ago, so there's that problem as well. So it'd be really weird if they release it in JP and give it, buff JP effects. So it's something they will have to think about, the release timing and what they're gonna do with all the GLEX characters.
変えていく可能性はあります。
But there is a possibility that the other characters may be coming to JP as well.
対応力、単位力の単位力の方かな。
So now they're talking. By the way, Japan doesn't celebrate Lunar New Year, which is why, technically, Oberon is basically a GLEX. It's global exclusive.
しいところではありますけれどもね。
If Japan doesn't even celebrate Lunar New Year, what is the point of of releasing a Lunar New Year unit in JP, right? So that's the idea. All right. So next up, you're gonna talk about the War Division's latest trend information.
コーナーではですね、
In this corner,
関する最新の解析データ
they're going to share with us in-game stats and analytics and stuff like that. Basically, all these kinds of trivial information that they are going to analyze and let us know, what are the trends of the World of Visions players. Robotaku says, I hope JP get Edison. No, I think that ship has sailed. There's no way. I don't think there. Some people in JP actually want Edison Ray as a unit, but I think that ship has long sailed.
早速いきましょう。本日ご紹介する項目はこちらになります。
So this time around, you're gonna talk about lightning units, top 10 lightning units used in guild battle. This is top 10 units used in the legendary reliquary. This is the first stage for the Wind Veritas. And then next up, skill potions usage rates. Who are the top 10 experts that have been receiving the most amount of skill potions? And then Elder Awakening, Vision Cards top 10, and finally, top 10 limit burst enhancements from the players. First of all, we're going to talk about the most used lightning units in guild battle, top 10. Asado-san starts off this corner with saying, well, these are all the same faces you always see in guild battle. Right? Am I right, you guys? It's pretty much these guys are pretty much the fixed people in lightning guild battle.
タウロス以上だけとかではないんですけど、もうちょっと下ぐらいまでは見てるんですが、一定の上を見てます。下まで見ちゃうとモントだらけだったりとか、なんかいろんなキャラクターが本当にトレンドが
By the way, they only look at top guild battle, top guilds until a certain point.
で荒いあたり
Because if they go too low, then it gets kind of weird, right?
っていうのが結構多いなっていう印象なんで、まあ荒いアルスに対してこの3枠目に何を入れるかみたいなのが結構
So usually in lightning party, you usually use Alaya and Asterisk, and the third unit can be any of a number of characters. So like lightning, Rafu as well.
今火力面とか含めると
Lightning is still being used a lot in JP.
使ってみていただければなと。
Still completely very, very usable.
やっぱり未だにいるのは、
7位クラウドまだいますよと。
そうですね、こういう形 するとやっぱねトゲがあるかもしれないですけど、まあ、古めじゃないですか、リリース自体もでやっぱ最新のキャラクターに比べればどうしても弱い。
But of course, older characters are generally not as strong as the newer characters. So, like, remember Cloud? Even though he is, Cloud is a representative of JRPG, so it's no wonder why he's still number 7. But what about Squall? What about Squall sitting over here? Squall? Sitting right next to Scar? I mean, this can't be a coincidence, right? This is like the perfect positioning for them. Squall sitting next to Scar because their names are so close. So when Squall came out, Fuda-san saw the response on Twitter, and he thought Squall will for sure be one of the more used units because a lot of people really like Squall. And that was kind of what he remembered at that point in time. You're seeing a lot of posts on Squall about how people, want to use Squall because they love him as a character. Alright, next up is the units, top 10 units used for the Legendary Reliquary. What is this called? The Genji Glove stage, the +1 stage. So this is a quest that you finish to unlock Veritas of the Wind level 120. So for the first party, you have number 1 is Flag Bearer Glassula, followed by Sadali, Gargus, Halloween Leader. This is Lucia, number 5. Number 6 is Veritas of the Wind. Number 7 is Zidan. Okay, so basically this is what a lot of people use. Not really the limited characters from the Apocalypse Festival or the Crystal Warriors, but more people use these characters instead, the regular roster characters. Because you can absolutely clear it with all these kind of regular roster characters. Especially Gargus, who Assaulto-san is a big fan, and he likes to imitate Gargus' voice from time to time. In essence, Fujita-san is trying to stress that you can absolutely clear the Veritas stage with all the regular characters. So this is another one of the parties. So basically these parties are a showcase of some of the parties people use to clear. You can do it with light and ice as well, by the way. In case you're wondering, I still have not fully cleared it in Global and JP. I hope my guildmates are not watching this stream. I told them to finish doing it by January 29th. But I ended up not doing it myself, so I hope they don't find out. Don't tell them, okay? It's a secret between you guys and me. Alright, next up, top 10 Aspers that people use skill potions on. Number 1 is Odin. Dark Bahamut, Dark Odin, Dark Ifrit, Dark Siren, Greater Demon, Ultras, Shinryu, and the last one is Dark Tetrasulfide. Tricia Spencer says, I figured Gargus will be first for win. Yeah, he's really popular for this stage. He's actually really good, but I never bother unlocking him fully, so I don't use him. Flat Planet says, Squall is the clown. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but you do you. Eric Gar says, Orange J's toy is Squall next to Aileen. So these are the usual suspects for Aspers, really.
なんかアサルトさんの解説動画見て、
So Miso Shu says that she watched Asato-san's video on the aspers to use skill pushes on, and she ended up using on Bahamut.
おすすめです。
But Asato-san said, no, wait, actually in my video I recommended Dark Bahamut.
様の持ってるものをあげて
With that said, you know, it's up to you guys who you want to use it on. All of these are really strong with the SP potions. Next up is the Elder Awakening. I don't really think this is very useful data because a lot of people just, you know, Elder Awaken all the vision cards that they use, right? So I don't think it actually matters what actually ranked in. I'm surprised that people Elder Awaken this card. And this one here as well, like what's the point? Oh, I guess it's because, so you're saying now that it's probably because everybody has these two vision cards, so that's why they ranked in. And of course everybody has the max number of shots for these vision cards. So of course obviously you wouldn't you know, use them that much. But the problem with the other cards that are really good is that not everybody has these vision cards. So that probably affected the rankings quite a little bit. Eric Grass says, question, is Fang's VC a holo? I believe they said it's a holo, but I'll look at it again later on. You can usually tell what is a holo and what is not a holo by the border.
最近のトレンド、まあ、さっきのギルドバトルの雷でもあれなんですけど、雷パーティー一時期に比べれば増えたかなと。
So it's kind of interesting that Core is over here, but it's probably because of Lightning Team's popularity in Guild Battle.
かなりいいんですけど、偏りってあんまないんですけど、まあそういうところで言うと雷もちょっと多めではある。
But right now, you know, the games are pretty balanced in terms of the elements. So you see a bunch of different elements as well. So basically, Asalto-san pointed out that basically of all the MR vision cards, Coral is the #1 MR vision card that was Elder Awakened. And of course it's a cat, so, you know. It's also really easy to use, so that's part of the reason why this is really popular. Robotaku says, Fang vision card has the holo banner. Yeah, so I believe they said the holo VC effect is the magic damage reduction. So it's like AoE damage reduction but for magic. Next up, LB Limit Burst Enhancement Top 10. #1 is Glassula, obviously. Really good. King Mon's Limit Burst was really good as well for enhancing. Prince Mon, I don't even know what normal Prince Mon's LB Awakening actually does.
LB 強化に関して言うと結構対人が、特に上位とかの、低い以上まで使われているようなキャラクターがちょっと少なめだなと、結構まあグラセラはめちゃめちゃ使われてるんですけど、でエレナとか、一部ジェイダンとかアライアも使われてるんですけど、それ以外のキャラクター結構少なくても、やっぱ時期的な部分で特にメディーナとか。
So one thing that's interesting is Mediana is here. Mediana actually made it in the top 10. Probably because of the usages for quest. So Fuja-san thinks that is probably the... It's just a guess from him, but he thinks that maybe the usefulness of Mediana's Limit Burst enhancement in PvE made her rank into top 10. Other than that, a lot of these characters are PvP units, obviously. King Mons, a lot of them have, like, you know, HP recovery stuff. A lot of these enhancements have HP recovery on them. So that may be one of the reasons. Ayaka's Limit Burst as well. What about someone in chat on JB stream mentioned, oh, maybe it's used for manual play. I think you're talking about Mediana. And that's all for this corner. So Osato-san always tries to make videos recommending characters and stuff like that. But in the end, the characters that people use are in the end characters that they love. So it's kind of like like using the character is a way of expressing their love. So that's really interesting to see. But definitely feel free to refer to this data to help you in the game as well. So in the future, when they take a look at these strands, they will try to include stuff that people want to see. So be sure to, for the Japanese users, they ask them to put it in the chat. So next time they're going to move on to the variety show part of the show. They're gonna do a player match between Osato-san versus Fujita-san. So we're going to get to see how good Fujita-san is at his own game. Fujita-san says, because of this corner, I couldn't concentrate on today's broadcast at all. Because he was too nervous about this segment. So they're gonna start by explaining the rules of this player match. They're gonna do 3 matches. So it's best of 3. They can use any characters, but they have to use one character from Apocalypse Festival. And then it's going to be, the format is cost limited 250. So if Osato-san can win even one match from Fujita-san, everybody will get a 10 pull one UR guaranteed 10 pull ticket. So we're all going to have to cheer on Osato-san. So right now everybody is placing their bets on Osato-san. He has to win. Fujita-san is saying, what? Just one win? Isn't that too easy? Isn't the hurdle too low? Eric Grass says they should upgrade old units to be usable again. I think they're doing it all the time, right? The latest set of upgrades is from the LB enhancement, and I'm sure in the future they're going to have more ways of enhancements for the old units as well. Master Ability 3 or whatever. I'm sure it's going to come in the future. So they have to use an Apocalypse Festival unit. There has been, what, 5? 5 of them have been released, right? So they pretty much have to build the party around the Apocalypse Fest character. So Fujita-san's comment, pre-fight comment is that, well, it's going to... He's a bit worried about... by the way, for Fujita-san's account, he's going to use a cheat account, so he has everything. So, so on the account that Fujita-san is using, the mastery for everything is max. The maximum allowed in the game right now. But there is one thing that Fujita-san's account is going to be weaker at, which is that Fujita-san's account, the account he's using, is not in a guild, so there won't be any guild statue benefits. So even though he's using a test account, a cheat account, it's basically in the same environment as the players. And he wants to assure people that this account that he's using is only for the purpose of this show match, so it's not something he's using for arena or some other stuff. So don't worry about it affecting the game. This is the Game Master rights only for this show match. But earlier Fujiya-san said that if he loses all 3 matches, then it kind of gives people the feeling that he's not doing his job properly. So he's gonna try and make sure he doesn't lose badly.
やばいどっちが勝って
じゃ
も
あ今フレーム立ててるんですけど、
はい、
番号言うとバレちゃうので、はい、ちょっとここでもちゃもちゃして、
もちゃもちゃしといて、
So they're gonna create a room and set everything up first. They can't broadcast it because it would give away the room code and cause a ruckus. So even though this is a show match, there's literally something on the line. Asalto-san can't afford to lose because if he loses, everybody is gonna get really pissed off that he didn't win even a single match. And Fujiya-san can't afford to lose because he's the director of the game, and if he loses all 3 matches, it kind of gives off the impression that he doesn't know his game very well. So both of them cannot afford to lose. So those are some real stakes on the line, you guys. And of course, because they didn't restrict any... there's no restrictions in terms of the units they can use, other than the cost, the total cost. So it's gonna be a bit of a rock, paper, scissors in terms of the elements as well. And Miso-Shiu-san is pointing out that, when you're playing your own account, you kind of know where everything is at and, what you have and all that stuff. So it's actually really easy for you to put together a team versus someone who has everything in a test account. It's kind of more difficult for them to decide what they want to use. Alright. We went in. Asalto-san loaded a team with Squall, which is, as someone pointed out, is a clown in this game, but it's the character that Asalto-san decided to go with, and somehow he managed to win the coin flip, I guess, in terms of the elements. So it is Lightning versus Spear team. Where I thought it was cost 250. Oh, it's three different fights basically. So the conditions they were talking about are for 3 different fights. The first one is unlimited character usage. They can use anyone they like. The second one, they can only use characters from... They must use a character from the Apocalypse Fest, Another Story Part 3. And then the third one is cost 250. Flat Planet says, can you please rank all 5 Apocalypse units and let me know which one is considered the best among them? All 5 Apocalypse units. Well, the thing is, I haven't actually played Dario. My Dario has 600 shots and 600 mind speeds, but I haven't had the time to build him yet, so I can't tell you anything about Dario. What is the second Apocalypse unit? Lucio, right? It's Astrius, Lucio, and then Shadow Lynx, Ketone, and then the last one that was released was Dario. So number 1 is Lightning Astrius. He's definitely ranked number 1. Number 2 is Ketone. I'm not kidding. Ketone can actually fight for number 1 spot as well. That's how good Ketone is. Number 3 is... Sorry, I can't include Dario because I don't have a lot of knowledge on Dario right now. I haven't really played much with him because I've been very focused on the global version. I don't know if you guys probably haven't heard anything about this, but I've been so I'm now the sub leader of Final Boss, the rank 1 game in global. So since around the start of February, I've been spending most of my time in global version. So I haven't really had a lot of time to check out and do a lot of things in JP. So I can't tell you anything about Dario right now because I've not actually done the testing or anything like that. So if I were to rank between the 4 characters, not including Dario basically, I would say Lightning Astrius is number 1. And right alongside Lightning Astrus is probably Kitone. So they're both tied for first place. And then Lucio is third place. And then Shadow Lynx is last place. But all of them are usable. All of them are pretty good. Shadow Lynx is not a garbage tier character. And I think Shadow Lynx is probably better than Oberon because I do think Oberon is a garbage character, the new Oberon.
戦目なんでね、まだ、はい、あと2戦のうちに取り返していきたいなと思います。はい。ちょっと部屋をね、準備。
I hope the. So they were pretty loud, so I hope you guys could hear me talk clearly. But yes, I just said that I think Lunar New Year Oberon is a complete garbage character. At least from what I understand about him right now. I haven't seen anything strong about him yet. And I could be wrong. You know, I haven't had that much time to... I haven't had any time to mock or fight against an Oberon. But based on what I've seen so far from Oberon, I do feel that he is a garbage character. He's a fun character that you can have fun with and do PvE stuff with. And whatever the heck. But I only care about PvP, so... I don't really like Oberon. Anyway, so they're going into a second fight. So this is the one where they have to use an Apocalypse Festival character. So Osaldo-san probably use Astris, and Fujiya-san probably use Dario, I'm guessing. Ryan M says, yes, Oberon's sub-jobs are old. It's not just the sub-jobs. Even his main job, the kit on his main job is pretty crap. Like, what were they thinking? Like, if you take Oberon and compare Oberon to A2, you see, like, it's like day and night, man. Like, what were they thinking? Like, Oberon is just like a way inferior version of A2. Syed says, Lunar New Year Oberon is supposed to be good against Vivi, Helena, and A2 team. I don't see that. I really don't see that. But then again, I haven't actually seen footage of Oberon in a real fight, so I don't actually know 100% the matchup. So maybe there's some truth in that. But from what I understand about the character, from the limited amount of knowledge I have about Oberon, I don't think he's good enough to go against Vivi Helena. I feel like they should have given Oberon more things. Like, he doesn't even feel like a cost 100 unit. Lunar New Year Oberon is more than Links on Ice. Oh, Lunar New Year Oberon equals Links on Ice PTSD. Yeah, I totally feel you there. It's exactly the same scenario. No, but the thing is, Links on Ice is actually good. It's actually better. Links on Ice is still pretty terrible a character, but at least she has some uses. You can use her as a sniper unit. Like, that's the main use I have for her right now, for Shadow Links on Ice. I would use her as a sniper or archer unit. At least there's that usage. Oberon doesn't even have that. Syed says Ready Player Will just showcase in his recent video. Yeah, I guess I'll go and watch it later, but I don't believe it's any good. You know what Ready Player Will also said? Ready Player Will also, I heard from my guildmates that Ready Player Will says, BLM, Black Mage teams are nothing to be afraid of, you know, like, we've figured out how to beat, you know, Black Mage teams. They're nothing to be afraid of. And yet, everyone in the top guilds are still using Black Mage teams. And even in JP, I can tell you my opponent in JP tonight is the number 2 guild, which is, they were formerly the number 1 guild, but we finally beat them and outrank them to become the number 1. And tonight we're facing them again. And if they win, they become number 1 and we're number 2 back again. And those guys are using Black Mage team on their defense. So Black Mage teams are still meta in JP. But according to Ready Player Will, he says Black Mage teams are nothing to be afraid of. So that's what I think about what Ready Player Will thinks about Oberon. But I'll watch his video later and, you know, let's see what he has to show. I don't believe Oberon is good. Dozo says Oberon Mont and Xiaozi wrecked Helena Vivira. Well, here's the thing, you guys. If you fight against a poorly built Helena Vivi Ralph team, yeah, any team is going to wreck that team. You know, like just because someone showed you that it can beat a Helena VV Rolf team doesn't mean that it is definitely that way. Because you don't know how they built that team. And even in Top Gear Battle Arena, we face, well, I don't want to talk too much about it because it's kind of like giving away secrets, but let's just say that there are things that you can do to make Black Mage team strong, and there are things that you can do to make them not that strong. I'll just end the discussion on that note. Ryan M says it's okay. He is a 80 cost or 70. What are you talking about? Who's 80 cost or 70? Hariki Louis says he lacks some damage. Yeah, I believe that. I believe he lacks damage. Dozo says Oberon is meh. Yeah, he is absolutely meh. I have to ask who designed Oberon and what were they thinking? I look at it and then I look at A2 and I'm like, something is wrong there. They're both cost 100 units. You're telling me Oberon is the same cost as A2 and yet he just looks like an inferior A2? Global Ragnarok says, I wish I have young Helena. Robotaku says, give your secrets. Hey, sorry, we're still using Black Mage team in Guild Battle. When Black Mage team really has fallen off the meta, then that's when I'll tell you all my secrets. But I mean, yeah, I don't wanna talk about it. It's some very stupid thing, but let's just say when you build the Black Mage team, you have to pay attention to what you're putting on. I'll leave it at that. Kitty Law says, just tweak the trust stones. Yeah, that is one thing you can tweak as well. So like I said, just because just because an Oberon team beats a Black Mage team doesn't mean anything to me, you know? Like, unless you can explain what is happening there and what is it about the character that makes it really good against Black Mage team, then maybe I have a shot at believing what that is all about. But from what I've seen from the character, like, what the hell? It's like, it's nothing anywhere close to being that good against Black Mage. It's like saying you can build a team with Squall and 2 other random characters, and then they beat Black Mage team, and naturally that means that the Black Mage team counted. It doesn't work that way. Just because of one fight, it doesn't show anything. Joshua says, I love the hate. The traitor that is Oberon is getting. I'm a Jaden player. Yeah, let's hate on Oberon. Let's go. He's the bad guy, man. Honestly, I don't even understand why they decided to make Oberon the Lunar New Year unit. The only reason they made Oberon the unit is because this year is the year of the dragon, and they thought, oh, dragon! Why don't we just make Oberon the character for this year? Because he's supposed to have dragon lineage, right? But who the hell wants Oberon, you know? Who? Like, I'm sure Oberon has his fans, I'm sure. I'm sure there are people out there. I'm sure there are some players who really love Oberon, but a lot of people don't, right? I mean, especially since he is a bad guy in the story, right? Wouldn't it make more sense to make Alaya the Lunar New Year unit this year because she is a dragon princess, right? And going by this pattern, by the way, I'm going to predict next year's Lunar New Year unit is going to be Muraga because he's a snake, and next year is the year of the snake. That's going to be the kind of rationale they do for the Lunar New Year units, I feel like. So, because I wasn't watching the match, by the way, so I don't know what happened. All I know is Assaulto-san won us the ticket, so... So, because Assaulto-san won 2 matches, people in the comments are saying, hey, he won 2, right? So why don't you give us 2 tickets instead? Where's your pride, Fujita-san? So right now it's 1 temple ticket that gives you a free UR. UR guaranteed. So because Assault-san won 2 matches, they're going to change the reward to, it's still going to be a temple ticket, but from the temple ticket you can get 2 UR guaranteed. Anyway, this is only for JP version, it's not coming in global version, so it's not something we really care about that much. Eric Gar says, Move the Maria was beast when she's introduced. I feel like Move the Maria, now that she's got her upgrades, has potential. I haven't had a chance to play around with the improved Move the Maria, but I kind of feel that she has potential. Flat Planet says, there are various ways to counter the Black Mages team. I agree with you. However, the team's reliance on RNG makes it unpredictable. No matter how prepared you are, the RNG can ruin your match. I both agree and disagree with you. I agree with you on the part that there is an RNG element to the Black Mage teams. I'm just gonna say, Helena's limit burst is bull crap. You know, like sometimes Helena can win off of it if she uses it early. So if you try to prevent the enemy Helena from using it early, and what turns out is sometimes even when Helena is the last character standing and she uses the LB late, she can still win. There's a huge RNG element in terms of that. I agree with you on that point. The point I don't agree is the part about how you say no matter how prepared you are, the RNG can ruin your match. I can tell you as someone who plans a lot of the guild battle stuff in Final Boss number 1 guild, we plan our teams based on what teams we know will like 90% and above win against the Black Mage team, the opponent's Black Mage team. And, I go by the different, basically we do testing against like a lot of the common variations that people use. So I can tell you, without looking at the actual fight, I can look at the units and the placements and the equipment, and I can tell you, no, don't even show me the equipment. I can look at what you're using, what the guild is using, based on the 3 units. And I can tell you roughly what our teams are gonna do, whether or not they will win or not. That's how we approach guild battle. So it's definitely not something that you cannot prepare for. You can definitely prepare for it, but you need to practice, and you need to know what to test for and what to look out for. You can go to WOTV stats to check my win record against, Black Mage teams. I don't think I've crashed on Black Mage teams on this map yet. But basically, you can prepare for it. Definitely 100%. Anyway, right now, they're going through the presents for this broadcast. So this is like their version, JP's version of the Hiroki Gives. As usual, we have the various tickets. Each ticket, you can choose, these things, and not too much to talk about. But anyways, after they finish this and give their closing comments, we're going to go back and look at, gonna do a quick recap of some of the things that they announced for today. So they're going to closing comments now already. Asoto-san says, so as a new kind of challenge, they decided to do, this program with new elements in mind. So hopefully it's well received by the players viewing this. And he feels really good because he won in the player match. But of course, if he were to lose all 3 matches, then he would have been depressed. Anyway, he thanks everyone for tuning in and for... Yeah. So next up is Fujita-san. For Fujita-san, at the beginning of the broadcast, he explained already that in the future, or rather in terms of the stuff unveiled in this live stream, in the future, they will give more details, and they will also want to get more feedback from players about the things that they announced today. And, they will sort of summarize it, follow up on it, make the game better based on the environment. Also, with regards to the broadcast this time, so obviously Nakai-san is not here anymore, so the way that they do broadcasts are different. The whole point in the first place, when they did the previous type of broadcast, right, it was because it's something that Nakai-san came up with. So that's why now that he's no longer with Square Enix, they are changing the style of the broadcast entirely.
部分だったり
So that's why they try to challenge themselves and try to implement all these different things into the broadcast.
やりたいなと思ってます。
And of course, in the future, there are things that they're thinking of doing the broadcast as well. So do hope for everyone's support.
番組は以上で終了となり
一個だけ
Oh, there's one thing Fujita-san wants to explain.
さっきの UR の確定、
はい
まあ、1枠確定なのが2枠になりますっていうちょっとなんかねちょっとね言い方が違ったかもしれないのでちょっとそれだけ、はい、ユーレア、ユーレア2枠確定の10連召喚に変わる
はい
イメージです。
はい。
はいもう
So this is about the
1枠が2枠になるという急遽な変更だった
this is about the present that Asaldo won for us. About the temple ticket. Now changing it to giving us 2 UR
ください
slots instead of 1.
それでは皆様
Anyway, it's nothing to worry about.
大丈夫ですか
1週間、2週間なりましたもんね。お互いにね、なりましたよ。
いやまあ全敗じゃなかったからよかったな。
So Fujiya-san says that he's relieved that at least he didn't lose all 3 matches.
ちょっと話になっちゃい
Would be a bit of a laughing stock if he lost all 3 matches, I guess.
頑張って考えて
But for this broadcast, they actually did prepare their teams and try and do their best for the show match.
お願いします
はい。よろしくお願いします。
Eric Gross says, when will we get approximately the FF13 rerun global? Will it overlap with Collab? It will not overlap. And you can tell based on the global shop. So that's the end of the broadcast. You can tell from the global shop, it will probably begin exactly 35 days or 33 days from now. Because if you notice the pack H in the game for the global version, you can purchase them up to like 30 something days from now. And that is when I suspect the FF13 rerun is going to happen in global. Alright, so we're going to, like I said, we're going to take a bit of time to go through some of the things that they talked about that was too fast for me to, to write down and translate for you guys. Is there anything in particular you guys want to, want me to go back and look at? I'm going to start with the parts that I'm most interested in
お
first,
願いします
which is the vision card.
オーディンの部分、オーディン芝に関しては
Wait, so you can tell this is a, this is a Holo VC frame.
何回言うの
So this is definitely a Holo VC. Oh, it says here is a Holo Vision card.
新規追加の
Violetta asks, what element do you guys think Ashen King will be? What do you guys think it will be? I think it's ice.
物理系のVC にイメージをしていて、
So this is a physical VC.
一キラとリアクション阻止率と命中っていうのをパティアウィークでつけたいなっていうところと、あとプロビジョンなので特定コンテンツのツイートがここはビルドバトルを予定していて、
Wow.
ここにちょっと新しい普段 VC で出してない効果なんですけど、
はい
広いほどダメージがあるじ
ああ、はい。
ゃないですか。範囲が広いほど
So I'm just going to listen to it for a bit.
これは、魔法火ダメを軽減する効果っていうのをつけようかなと考えて、
ビジョンカードで作る。
ビジョンカードで作る。
まあなかったですね。
そうですね。今まで範囲耐性、範囲の攻撃でいうと範囲耐性とかそういう形だったんですけど、ちょっと新しくこっちにも新しく追加をしようかなと思っています。はい。
ありがとうございます
Okay, so for this vision card, Bahamut's chosen is a Holo Vision card. It's a physical-based vision card. The limited party effects are physical Man-Eater when using physical attacks. That's the first one, which means it has the biggest value. Second one is reaction block rate up, which means this is the least value. And the third one is accuracy up. And because it's the third effect, this means that it is going to be the middle, the average value. And on top of that, the Holo Vision card effect is for guild battles. And it's going to give you some amount of magic damage mitigation. So this is on the same plane as the physical damage up and magic damage up, that plane, meaning it's the overall, how do I put it? It's the overall effect. I'm not talking about magic attack. I'm talking about magic base damage mitigation. So he says that this is somewhat similar to the kind of, so previously you've seen things like AoE damage mitigation or, AoE resist, right? So this is the Guild Battle Holo Vision card effect is for magic damage mitigation, all forms of magic damage. So just to take note of that.
やっぱ13は機械だからかっこいいですよね。
And by the way, FF13 Aspers, right, are all machines, so the artwork as well, Misochiyu-san is pointing out. Like, this is like the machine version of Bahamut, so it's kind of interesting because of that as well. Alright, so that's the vision card. And then the other thing that I wanted to confirm was the weapon for Fang. So the generic effect for Fang's weapon is just pierce attack up. And the Fang exclusive.
HP が一定以下の場合は物理ダメージが上がるっていう効果と、のみの効果として、一定 HP が一定以下の場合は物理ダメージかなと思ってますが、ファングのみの効果として、一定 HP が一定以下の場合は物理ダメージが上がるっていう効果と。
So for Fang specific effects, when Fang's HP is below a certain percentage, so she doesn't start off with this. When Fang's HP is below a certain percentage, she gets physical damage up. Yeah, physical damage up. She also gets accuracy up and initial AP up. So those are the Fang exclusive effects on this weapon. And the generic one is pierce attack up. And you have accuracy from the vision card as well. So Fang is going to be a pretty accurate character. And on top of that, on the character herself, she has quite a bit of accuracy. So you can, when you reincarnate her, you can add quite a bit of accuracy to her as well. So she's going to be super accurate, which is really great for lightning, for a lightning character, I guess. Was there no special weapon for Snow? Because it's only lightning and hope weapons getting improvements. So I don't think anyone wants to hear a recap on this now. It's just the boss. The other thing I want to double confirm was the character kit for Fang. So I'm gonna try and see if I can check the level 12 sub-job, because I do have WOTV calc open here. By the way, if there's anything you guys want me to recap specifically, just let me know. I'll go back to that part for you as well. KWL says, yep, Snow only got Tiger Claw, nothing FF13 specific. Right now, she's saying something that's kind of important. So I don't think you guys need me to go through this again, right? Because honestly, I think Lightning's Limit Break is kind of boring. Like, it doesn't really do much. Snow is not bad because the range is increased, and it also gives him barrier. And then Snow is the one that's most useful because it completely changes, right? The range is all different. And it has courage ceiling, courage removal ceiling for 3 turns. So, ice unit with courage ceiling, what do we do with that? I guess you could, you don't want to pair him with, Summer Glaciala anymore because he's supposed to be the tank. So you pair him with A2, and then who else? I don't know how many, like, who are the ice units who have courage usually? Okay, so this part, the limit burst is like super confusing. So I'm gonna explain this again for the people who didn't quite understand how the limit burst works. So this is called High Wind, and it's very interesting because you see here it's a sequential ability, right? But what's really interesting is that, so the first part of this move is a single target attack up.
一瞬カンペを見失ったんで
Sorry, just give me a moment. I need to settle something real quick.
はい、ファングに関しては雷のコスト90というところで追加をさせていただきます。でサブジョブに関しては龍脈騎士、これは支流の加護っていうなんだっけ、一つ耐性ダウンを付与するみたいな、
はいはいはいはい、
あれがついてるのと密偵ですね、猛毒囚人、
はい、
斬撃耐性ダウンと
残
毒ですね。
解ダウンのもそうですね、はい、毒のやつが、サブジョブとなってます。で、リミットバーストハイウィンド、三端地震
Okay, sorry. Hello? Sorry about that. So, as I was explaining, High Wind is very interesting because the Limit Burst is a single target attack. And what it does is when you hit the target with the Limit Burst, first of all, it will give you 3 turns, it will give Fang 3 turns of defense penetration up before doing damage L on the target. And if the target has any kind of defense up effect on the target, right? This move will also do. This move will also get increased damage, and on top of that, when the LB move lands on hit, sequential ability part 2 comes out, and the part 2 move is called Extra Blow. And what it does is that the second part here doesn't affect the target anymore, but it only affects all of the enemy's allies around them in this range. They will all take damage equal to a portion of the damage of the initial hit. So let's say if you're targeting, so the example given was, let's say if you're targeting young Helena and it does 10,000 damage, for example, and then right beside her is Ralph, who is a tank. Now, even though she is a tank with all the defensive capabilities and all that, it will still do, like, let's say the damage is 50%, it will still do 5,000 damage on her, even if she has barriers and all that stupid crap on her. It will still be 5,000 damage, is what I understand how they explain it.
防御貫通率を上げた後に、ダメージを与えると、これは単体攻撃ですね。で、対象が防御アップをしていた場合に関してはダメージがアップしますと。でプラスこの下に書いてあるエクストラブローが発動します、連続使用です。でエクストラブローが、ちょっと新しい仕様になるんですけど、ハイウィンドの攻撃対象を中心とした、いわゆる攻撃をしたハイウィンドで攻撃をした相手の範囲、右下の範囲ですね、ひし形2マスの範囲なんですけど、そこにいる敵に対してハイウィンドで与えたダメージの一部を与える。
なんかダメージが広がるみたいな。
そうですね。そのハイウィンドで攻撃した相手に対しての、例えば本当に高いダメージでポンとダメージを与えたときにその分の、ダメージがこう他のやつにも伝わっていくみたいなイメージでは。
ダメージの一部が
オフってことですよね。
広わかりやすい。
So, like they're doing here is like you hit a target and then the damage sort of, radiates out to the surrounding enemies. It's that kind of image.
だから、ちょっと強い単体攻撃みたいなイメージがあるんですけど、単体攻撃の延長みたいなイメージではあるんですけど、例えば、活躍のシーンでイメージができるのはちょっとね、タンクがいたり硬いやつがいると、ちょっと意味が変わってくるんですけど、例えば火力しかないパーティーとかで、最初にこう例えば若ヘレナとか、ちょっと耐久のない相手をバンとハイウィンドで叩いた場合にすごい高威力のダメージが出たときに、その分、周りに、与えるダメージの割合で上がっていくので、
ダメージの一部だから、
そうです、割合のダメージなので、仮にヘレナの横にめっちゃ硬いヘイトゼロのめっちゃ硬いやつがいたとしても、ヘレナに与えたダメージを基礎として計算をするので、
横にラフちゃんとかがいてもダメージが
通りやすくなる。で、一部って言っても 20% とか 30% とかそんな低い数字ではないイメージではあるので、それなりにこう、本当に低すぎたらただの範囲攻撃でいいじゃんっていう話にはなるので、ある程度のダメージが広がるようにはイメージをしているので、はい、そういったちょっと新しい、効果を追加をさせて。
And Fujiya-san just explained that the second part of the move, it says here that it will inflict a percentage of the damage dealt out during the initial blow. But the percentage is not some kind of really low percentage, not 20% or 30%. It's more than that. It's going to be a significant percentage. So the way I understand it is that the second part here, the second move here, will kind of work similar to, what is it called? Drain Force? Or, you know, what is the other thing? I guess, like, with most of the follow-up attacks as well, right? In that it's calculated differently. It doesn't go through defense, it doesn't go through spirit, it doesn't go through AoE resistance or single target resistance. It's all based on the initial hit, right? And that is what is really interesting about it. And like he said, it's not going to be an insignificant amount of damage. It's going to be a good percentage of the initial damage. And it hits everybody who is within 2 squares of the initial target. So it's the first time they're doing something like this, and like he said, the image is like, you know, Fang is like coming in from the top. She's like jumping on an enemy, and then when she lands, like the damage radiates outwards to everyone else. So it's kind of really cool. Something that they're trying for the first time.
いただいてます。
まあだからさっき言った通りタンク相手だとちょっとダメージが下がっちゃうからその割合のそのエクストラブローのダメージも下がるよみたいな感じですかね。
はい。
いやすごいですね。
これはもしかしたらねなんか1万ダメージとか出たらすごいことになっちゃうかもしれない。
なんか皆様の動画とかスクショとか楽しみですね。
はい。
あ、ごめん、ちょっと今一言間違えてる。ね。敵だけじゃないです。味方にも当たります。これ。味方にも当たる。
Uh-oh. He just said something that is interesting and worrying. The second sequential effect doesn't just affect enemies, it affects your own allies as well. So, how usable is this limit burst? I guess we have to wait and see, but yeah, it's kind of insane. It's what? So, like, I think this is the first move ever that has a friendly fire element to it. Yeah, that's just what he just said. Like, that's just really stupid, isn't it? And the thing is, it's based off on the initial target. So if the enemy is standing right beside Fang, does she get hit by her own attack as well? So that makes me kind of not want to pull for Fang anymore. Like, how do you even use that element? You just turn it off permanently. Yeah. Oh, but the AI. But the AI is smart enough to not use this move when there are allies, you know, that can be caught in the range. So don't worry about this coming out in AI play. It's not gonna hit. You know, in autoplay, it's not going to come out and hit your allies because the AI is smart enough to make that distinction. But if you do it in manual play, you can absolutely hit your allies with the sequential ability. It says here, you can see in the text, this part here basically says in Japanese, it hits all of the you know, characters within this spear. Doesn't matter if it's allies or enemies, but in autoplay, it will not hit your allies. It's the main important takeaway. Ryoko Lam says, so it's like gunners on reaction counter. Yeah, it's exactly like that. So Srela says, so the AI will hit her team as well? What the hell? No, he just clarified, the AI will not use it if it can hit your allies. So the rest, okay, so the rest here I translated, everything on the page I translated the first time around already, but I'm just going to listen for the things that he's going to talk about that's not on this page.
物理バリア破壊を封印する。
So this move here is really great. Wow, I can't even see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is a range 6 to 7 move. It's a super far range AoE move that will not only do damage M to all targets, as well, it will also give them 3 turns of physical damage breaking nullify, so they will not be able to break physical barriers for the next 3 turns. So this is going to be the money shot here. This is going to be what's super useful about Fang, because the range, look at the range, is so incredibly far, and on top of that, so because it's so far, you can expect Fang to use it pretty early on, and it's going to protect the rest of your team. It's going to protect all the physical barriers on the rest of the team. So this is, I think, the reason to pull Fang for, really.
バリア破壊封印ですね。
はい、バリア破壊封印の
Strela asks, does she have guaranteed hit move?
これ多分 EX 強化で
The limit burst was not guaranteed hit, right? If I'm not wrong. I guess it doesn't show.
そのダメージも下がるよみたいな。
So the limit burst is not guaranteed hit. And
もしかしたらね、
the rest of the moves,
破壊を
let's see here. No, if so far, I haven't seen any mention of guaranteed hits, but maybe, you know, it's not on the screen. Maybe it's not on the page. Maybe he'll tell us about some of the moves, you know, that Fang has that are not over here, and I'll listen up for that.
これがまあバリア破壊封印ですね。
はい、バリア破壊封印のちです。
で、
But like KWL mentioned, hey, she's got a bunch of accuracy. What do you need guaranteed hit for?
左下のエリアバース、4ターンです。自身を中心とした十字の範囲の、味方の攻撃、素早さ、単体攻撃耐性を上げます。
おお、モリモリだ。はい
プラス自身に対して、物理ダメージバリア、これがダメージバリアですね。
一定量防ぐ
そう一定量防ぐ
はい。
バリアと、リアクション阻止率がアップすると。
So this is the godlike AoE buff, the type that, you know, they keep giving out the new characters. This does a few things. First of all, it gives everyone in this plus sign AoE range 4 turns of ATK up, agility up, as well as single target resistance up. And then for Fang herself, she gets a HP physical barrier. So a physical barrier protecting up to a certain amount of HP damage. And on top of that, she also gets 4 turns of reaction block rate up. So this is another thing that's really good about Fang.
はい、ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
はい、最大2体の対象の1つ耐性を下げつつ、攻撃をすると。
I think this one is pretty simple. Let's count the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a range 4 single target attack, but it's a select 2 attack. So you can hit up to 2 targets. And before you actually do the damage, right, the 2 targets will get 3 turns of pierce resistance down before damage M is applied on them.
2体選択攻撃ですね。
うん
はい。で、まあ、結構こう火力に特化したキャラにはしたいなみたいなところではあるんですが、まあ、あと例えば、ここに紹介してないアビリティでいうと防御割合を防御を割合ダウンしつつ攻撃する。物でかつ物理バリアを破壊しながら攻撃するっていう。
Wait. They just said something really crazy. They just said something really crazy.
一定量防ぐ。
I'll answer the question about... Kokinta has a question. How is new Dario holding up in JP? I couldn't tell you because I haven't really played with Dario yet. I've been busy with Global for a while now. So... 防御を割合ダウンしつつ攻撃する。物でかつ物理バリアを破壊しながら攻撃するっていう攻撃スキルだアビリティだったり、あとは So Fang has an ability that breaks physical barrier and lowers the target's defense by a certain percentage before dealing damage. So it breaks physical barrier and lowers defense by a certain percentage. And for endurance, Fang has courage.
下げるアビリティも他にありますよみたい
ありますでプラスでちょっと自身の中心範囲にはなるんですけど、回復アビリティみたいなところも実は持っていて、クエストの多分ギルバトの初戦とかでは、なかなか使うシーンがないと思うんですけど、例えばクエスト、なんだろう工具とか高難度のクエストとかで回復が必要なタイミングだったり、ギルバト2戦目の動きに対して、最初の動きだけにはなるんですけど、例えば今でいうと、例えばチャクラとかたまに使ってるキャラクターいるかもしれないですけど、そういったところで2戦目の動きに回復を組み込むみたいなところもできなくはないっていう形のキャラクターにはなっています。
Okay, and he just said that Fang has an HP recovery, an AoE HP recovery move as well, similar to Chakra, but it's not Chakra, it's something else. But effectively, it functions like Chakra.
はい。なんで結構で竜巻騎士でその支流の加護を持っているところもあるので、雷パはもちろん全然いいんですけど、槍パ一つのパーティーみたいなところにもちょっと入れやすい形で、
So they've sort of balanced her to make it easy for people to use her in lightning teams as well as in spear user teams. So I'm really quite excited about her, even though she's not cost 100. Only problem is I do not possess young Erde in JP, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna make that spear team. Straylight says, yay, more Rainbow Spear. Yeah, I think she's gonna be really good. I mean, defense percentage lowering, that is pretty crazy. That's gonna change. I think it's gonna change how Guild Battle is played for some part. Okay, so I think that's... so the only thing I'm lacking now are the two sub-job abilities, which I'm gonna try and find out because I have the... I have WOTV Calc loaded up here off screen. So I'm gonna see if I can try and find that out for you guys. Let's see, the job is the new type of Dragoon. What is it called? Well, you know, I'll just search by unit.
そして続きましては、はい、次のスライドお願いします。さあ、ファングさん、新登場いたしました。こちらも説明お願いします。
はい、ごめん、一瞬カンペを見失ったんではい、ファングに関しては雷のコスト90というところで追加をさせていただきます。で、サブジョブに関しては龍脈騎士、これは支流の加護っていう一つ耐性ダウンを付与する。あれがついてるのと密偵ですね。猛毒囚人。残撃耐性ダウンと残撃耐ダウンのそうですね。はい、毒のやつがサブジョブとなっている。
Okay, I think the operating subject is called Toxic something. It's the one that does poisons, that poisons your enemies and also like lowers their like slash resistance or something like that. So that's the sub job move for operative at level 12. And then for the Dragoon thing, the new Dragoon sub job, it is the, let's see here, it's the AoE buff move that is called, you know what, I'm just gonna convert it to English so that I can list for you the exact skill name. But it's basically a buff. Spine Worm, the upgraded version is Spine Worm's Warded Blessing. Reduces the physical damage taken 50% for 3 times for self. Wait, oh, so that's the physical barrier. And then grants 15% pierce resistance for 3 turns upon hit. So basically it gives your allies the ability to debuff the enemy's pierce resistance by 15% for 3 turns. And then it increases single target resistance. So this is a really good move. Overall, I am really digging the character. It seems to be really fantastic. And I think that's pretty much it, right? Covering the stream. We already went through all of the characters' moves. We went through the vision card and the what is it? What is the and the weapon as well? I think this time around it's actually kind of light on content. Because, you know, it was basically just the FF13 rerun, and then, you know, some of the updates coming later this one. And they actually spent 20 minutes talking about the new guild battle, which is the last thing I remember I needed to double check. Which is whether or not all the vision cards are activated from the start. Alright, so we are almost at the end of the stream. I think that's about all the information that was important from this stream. So I'm gonna check with you guys and see if you guys had any questions that I didn't answer from previously. Because I think the part about the guild battle, I'm going to listen to it later offline because it's quite long. And I'll try and see if they mention anything important that I missed. I don't think I missed out on anything. FTK says, the rerun FF13 just for Fang? So sad, I'd rather get Seed, Reigns, or Vanille. Well, we already knew this was going to happen because during the initial FF13 collab, they did mention that Fang will be a NPC ally for you. So we already know that they already spent the development cost making the character model for Fang. So we always knew she was going to come sooner or later, right? Yeah, this is how they usually do it for reruns. They usually try to not spend money making new stuff, but maybe if they rerun FF13 in the future, or if they do an FF13 2 collab, that's when you can expect, you know, some new characters. Let's see. KWL says, just no Pierce penetration mentioned. Yeah, you're right, they didn't mention any Pierce penetration, but you do have you're able to debuff the pierce resistance on enemies after the buff from the High Dragoon. So that's the one way you can do that. Straight Like says, hopefully she's high accuracy unit. They said on the live stream already that she is actually intended to be a high accuracy unit. So not only is there extra accuracy on her vision card as well as her weapon. Excuse me. Not only that, but Fujita-san explains specifically that when you reincarnate Fang, you can actually increase her accuracy by quite a lot as well, because she's geared towards accuracy. Straight Like says, I think she's Lightning Spirit due to the coming soon Volk Fire Spirit. Makes sense. Yeah, I think that makes sense as well. Now, the only big question that remains is whether or not Volk is a cost 100 unit or a cost 70 unit. Violetta says Vanille, the Penelo of FF13. Yeah, I would have really loved if I would have loved it if Vanille came to War of the Visions. It's one of my I know people find her annoying in FF13 because of her English voice, but her Japanese voice is actually not that annoying. Jesus LBR says sorry. Jihis LBR says sorry, I just hit the stream. Are OF13 getting something? All FF13 units are getting their limit burst enhancements. So Lightning gets something. Hope and Snow gets the biggest improvements. Trisha Spencer says, don't you guys wish we get more collabs for MR units and below? Yeah, but the problem is, you know, when they do collabs, right, it does involve development costs, and they want to spend money on the development costs for things that can actually make them money. So I think that's the rationale as to why they usually do not get, or rather they usually do not roll out, you know, collab MR units and below. So the only sort of exception to that is, of course, Slime from Dragon Quest Tag Collab. And the reason for that is because Slime is very, I mean, he's like an icon, right? So I think that makes sense for that, but it's kind of difficult to do it for other collabs. Coconut says the initial Fang was Wind and now they changed it to Lightning. Well, you know, these things happen for balancing reasons. We do have like a lot of Wind units recently already, so I'm happy that at least, you know, Lightning is finally getting something. And the thing about Lightning team is that Asterisk is not accurate, right? Alaya is kind of accurate. Alaya is accurate if you put some accuracy vision cards on her. So Fang is going to be the next highly accurate character, and that is going to help quite a bit against the evade teams out there. Yeah, exactly. Kokinda says lightning finally gets accurate unit other than Alaya/Lightning 13. Even Lightning from F13 is not that accurate unless you use the accuracy buff move that she has. Violetta says Melnius NPC was dark as well, but the unit turned out to be Earth. That's why we shouldn't trust NPCs. Volk might not be fire, for instance. Okay, so for Volk is a bit of a special case because when they implemented Volk in the game as an NPC, it's fairly close to the intended timing of his release. So for those kind of cases, you can generally expect that the NPC is a sign as to what the character will be when they come out with the element. If let's say if let's say Volk was coming out 4 or 5 months down the line, then that's when you can expect them to change the element somewhat. Because they will have to, you know, take a look at the meta in the future to decide what element makes the most sense. But generally speaking, like you see for Shadow Links and Ketone, you know, they were exactly the same element as featured in the NPC, if I'm not wrong. And the reason for that is because they came out pretty much almost right after the chapter came out. Ryan says Fang is Wind. Well, yeah, the NPC was Wind, but, you know, I'm sure that was partially designed for balance reasons as well. Probably. I'm not too sure on the reason. In the first release, yeah, I understand that. Alright, so this is really long, so I think I'm going to just listen to it offline and see if there's any information that I can convey to you guys about this. But essentially, we will see this system implemented pretty soon, in about a few weeks' time on February 19th. So that's when the final version of the implementation will come. So I guess I will either do some kind of stream or maybe make some kind of video about that. So stay tuned for that. But for today, I think I'm gonna end the stream now because I do have some things I need to get to in just a bit. So thank you guys for viewing. Let's see here. I think I didn't miss any of the questions that were asked recently. Now, unfortunately, I can't answer any questions about Dario right now because I haven't had the chance to actually play him. Like, literally, I have in my JP account, Dario is sitting at 600 shards and 600 Mind Spears. I haven't had the chance to build him up. But I'll be sure once I do, you know, get some hands-on on him, start building some teams of him. We'll see what I can do to, you know, try and convey the information for you guys on Dario. All right, so that's it for this time. Thanks to everyone for stopping by. I'll see you guys next time.